السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Let's see, maybe I don't know if you can hear my voice or not. Let me check. It seems to be okay here. Um, okay, let's go here. Okay, okay. So if you can, well, 1 minute. I'm going to reset this here. If you can hear me, just raise your hands. Press RH if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Yeah. See, all of them can hear me. Oh, subhanallah. So everyone can hear me. Check your speaker. Maybe it's muted. Okay, so inshallah, let us start. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Before we start, we will make dua. Let us make the dua together. You can always click on the hand that is up. You can always click on it so it will go back down. Or maybe I'll just reset from here. Okay, that's perfect. Jazakumullah khair. I'm going to make my screen bigger. So I'm going to select this screen to be shown only. Okay. Let us make the dua first. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad wa barik wa sallim. Oh Allah, help us learn this ilm of Tajweed so that we can correctly read your kalam and inshallah eventually understand it as well. Okay, let us start. Let us start. So we will read one page in the beginning and we will read one page in the end, and in between we will discuss the rules of Tajweed and whatever recitation that needs to be done in order to explain, we will explain inshallah. So let us start. This is page number 3. Actually, last time we read page number 2 and 3. So we will start with page number 4. So we'll do page 4 and 5 today, inshallah. So you can read along with me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون. صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون. أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت والله محيط بالكافرين يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم إن الله على كل شيء قدير يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون الذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا والسماء بناء وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم فلا تجعلوا لله أندادا وأنتم تعلمون وإن كنتم في ريب مما نزلنا على عبدنا فأتوا بسورة من مثله وادعوا شهداءكم من دون الله إن كنتم صادقين فإن لم تفعلوا ولن تفعلوا فاتقوا النار التي وقودها الناس والحجارة أعدت للكافرين صدق الله العظيم. All right, so now we will go on our Tajweed notes, and all of these notes hopefully you have downloaded as you know that from the main screen here. Okay, this is where the little notice for the online Tajweed Haraka is, and here are the Tajweed notes. This is the Tajweed notes here. These are the mouth pictures, And these are some the rules of the Hamzatul Wasl. And if there is any more things, I would also put it here. All right. So let me put this over here. Okay. So just a quick review, at least topics that we covered before. We covered al-qalqala, and al-qalqala, as you know, hopefully you are experts by now, um, that there are 5 letters of qalqala: qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal. Whenever any one of them is sakin, then you have to make that clacking sound. Okay, we have already done that, so I don't want to go into it, but we will be meeting it in our recitations. So inshallah, um, as required, we may identify. But I'm sure if there is any question, then inshallah we will um, ask. You can ask actually. So, like for example, I don't know if this is genuine or not, but someone has raised a hand and maybe they want to ask a question, but then they'll have to record it. So if I permit, okay, this is what that person is gonna get. Thumbs up meaning that you are permitted, but then you have to record. And that this person, Osman Abdullah, will notice that a recorder is going to open up on the top of his page on the left hand side. And but for that recorder to work, you need to have flash enabled. So Chrome and Flash are not too friendly, but Flash works good with Firefox. It works good with Microsoft Edge as well, but I think you need to do more tweaking with the Google Chrome. I'm not too sure about the Safari and other browsers, but it works pretty good with Firefox. Okay, so if you do record, then I am going to get an asterisk here, a green star. Okay, so that means there is a recording, and I will go and listen to the question, and I can answer that question. Okay, make sure that that question is proper question, and so on. All right, so we did qalqala. Then last time I think we ended with light or heavy and light letters. Okay, and I received a feedback saying that I sped through it very fast. Okay, so I think I'm going to spend a little bit more time. What are heavy letters and what are light letters? Let me just rotate this chart. Where is it? Okay, no. Okay, I'm not too sure if I can do it in this inside this thing here. This is I should be able to do it. This is a PDF reader. Let me see now. Um, okay, it's okay. I can always get it from here. So here we go. Okay, this one I can rotate. So if I go to heavy and light letters, yeah, I can rotate this. I know that. Rotate clockwise, but this is still not good because it's upside down. I need to rotate more, twice. Here we go. I will enlarge it a bit. Okay, so heavy and light letters. حروف التفخيم والترقيق. تفخيم, heavy, or you can say rounded, and tarqiq, light, or you can say flat. Okay, so I'm just gonna load the qaida that normally people do. I'll just go here. I'll load this up, and if I go like this, actually, let me load it from here, from this browser.
أعوذ بالله.
Okay, load it from here. Okay, here we go. So now if we just look at these letters, okay, and we will just identify the ones that are rounded and the ones that are flat. So if you look at these letters here, the ones that are in peach color, okay, kha. So in this row, kha. In this row, sad, dad. In this row, ta, dha, ghain. In this row, qaf. Okay. Now these are the rounded letters, okay, and then they are actually represented by the combination khussa, ضغط, qil. Khussa, ضغط, qil. But now you're probably thinking, what about this one here? Okay, this is also the same color. So this letter, ra, I will say it's neither here nor there. Okay, it's neither round nor flat, meaning it can be either, depending on the situation. So let me open up this thing here. Let's go back to this. I'll open a blank screen so that I can write. So I will write. I will pick up my pen and I will write this here. Kha. So this combination, you should memorize this. When I first started my Tajweed lessons, my teacher gave me these combinations. Khussa, ضغط, ضاد, غين, طا. ضاد فتحة غين ساكن ضغ. طا كسرتين ضغط. And then قاف and ضا. قِض. There you go. How many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. Now, what we want to do now, I'm going to divide them into two groups. So I'm going to write here kha. Okay, and then ghain and qaf. Qaf. And the other group I'm going to write over here. So I'm going to take this one, sad, and let me just move this down a bit. Dad, ta, and va. So, speaking in a simplistic manner, these letters are, let's say, always rounded or very like heavy as compared to this. So, if I draw a line in between these two, so these letters have a quality called al-isti'la. Okay, we just write down is isti'la. Isti'la. Okay, which basically stands for elevation. Elevation, and specifically elevation of the back of the tongue. Okay, isti'la. And that's all. These letters, this group also has isti'la, isti'la, which is again, as we said, elevation of the back of the tongue. So one, it has another quality called itobaqo. Itobaqo. So basically, and so this is the back of the tongue, elevation of the back of the tongue, and this is the adhesion of the tongue to the roof inside the dome. Okay, I will show you in the mouth pictures. So now you can see that this group of letters, let me just take this away. This group of letters has only, let's say, if you know, because if to raise the back of the tongue, you have to apply a force. Okay, to raise the back or elevate the back of the tongue. So you can say this group has only single force acting on the tongue, and this group has double force. So you can say, well, this will be doubly like rounded, or there's more force towards rounding these letters than these letters. So therefore, what is the end result? The end result is that if I put vowels on these letters, so if I say, if I just take, let's say, one letter, one of these, kha. So I don't say kha because when I say kha, that means my back of the tongue is not elevated. So if I elevate my back of the tongue, then it's going to sound rounded. Ha, ha, as opposed to kha. Kha, tongue, back of tongue, not elevated. Ha, back of tongue, elevated. And that's what this group requires. Okay, now if I put a vowel, fatha, so this will remain rounded. Kha, with fatha, kha. If I change it to dhamma, khu, khu. But if I put a kasra instead, then this goes flat, or the kasra pulls it down and makes it flat, like khi, khi, not khoi, not khoi. So this is because a lot of people they do it, and because they don't know the rule, they don't know it, you know, if in depth. That's why they end up doing that, especially with the qaf, because qaf, a lot of people have a little bit of a problem because qaf is very close to the throat, but it is not a throat letter. A lot of people they get confused. Many times I ask the students, okay, is qaf a throat letter or not? Or I would say qaf is a throat letter, true or false? And many of them they would say it is true. Qaf is a throat letter, and I say that it is not. Qaf is not. Qaf is close to the throat. Actually, it's the closest to the throat, but it is not a throat letter. Anyways, so now it is rounded. So when we put, let's say, a fatha, we will say qa and not qa. Qa. We're raising the back of the tongue. Qa. And with a dhamma, it will be qu. But with a kasra, it will be, it will go flat. It will be qi, not qoi, not qoi. So some people actually do that. That they and they are probably thinking they are mashallah applying the rule of tajweed, but they're not actually. So tajweed tells us that with kasra, because these are not as strong as these, or you can say this group is weaker, okay, than this group here. So therefore, with the kasra, it will go towards flatness. Same thing is going to happen with the ghain. With fatha and dhamma, it will be heavy rounded ghu, gha, ghu. But with the kasra, it will go towards flatness. Ghi, ghi. Okay. We will look at these examples, and now we over to this group. So sad, dad, ta, dha has the back of the tongue elevation, like this one here, this one, but it also have itbaq. So the rest of the tongue is its adhesion towards the top and towards the dome, okay, towards the top inside itbaq, and that makes it more rounder. So kasra really doesn't affect them very much. Kasra doesn't pull them down as it does this group here. So with a fatha, sa, with a dhamma, su, and istila is happening, and itbaq as well, and with a kasra, si, si. So yes, you have to go e because of the kasra is, that's the vowel e, but the initial starting point is very heavily guarded and rounded. Si, not si. Imagine if we let it loose like this, and if we don't do itbaq and we just treat it like this group, what's going to happen to sad with a kasra if we do not keep it rounded? Is going to turn into a scene. And this is what happens when a lot of people, when they're reading Suratul Fatiha. So rather than saying صراط صراط اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين, so صي, just take this out, صرا صيرا. So if you do not make that rounding, what's going to happen? It will become sira, sira. So what we have done, if we actually do that, and if we do not guard its roundedness, we have effectively changed the letter. Now who has the right to change the letter of the Quran? Astaghfirullah. No one. See, we cannot do that. So therefore we have to be very, very particular about guarding their roundedness. So that's why the whole topic of rounded letters and flat letters. So if you go back to I need to get out of this mode. There we go. Let me just take this away for now. Okay. So now you can see, except for alif, because alif is not a consonant, alif is always sakin. So look at all of the rest. So all the rest of the letters are flat. For example, ba, ba. You don't say bo. Ba, ta, tha. And then jim, if I had a fatha, ja. Okay, ha. But this one rounded, ho. Dal, dal, flat, flat. And this one, its name, as I said, this is, it could be round or flat, but its name, because it is with a fatha, ra, so we say it rounded. But it has its own rules. We will cover those rules, inshallah ta'ala. But leaving that aside for now, za, flat, sin, flat, sheen, flat, sad, heavily rounded, bod, heavily rounded, ta, heavily rounded, wa, heavily rounded, ain, always flat, a, ain, a, always flat, ghain, now again rounded, but this is the mild rounded one. It belongs to the group which gets affected by kasra. Then moving on, fa, flat, qaf, again the mild rounded ones, kasra will modify them and make them flat. Then kaf, flat, lam, flat, always except if it is lamul jalala. I think we did that. Lamul Jalala is that special lam that is used in the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lamul Jalala. Okay. So lam also can be either round or flat, but it has very specific application, not general like raw. Raw is can be applied anywhere, but lam the is almost always flat except if it is part of the word Allah, and if that lamul jalala, that lam in the name of Allah, is preceded by a, a significant letter that has fatha or dhamma. But if it has a kasra, then it goes back to flat. Mim, flat. Noon, flat. Wow, flat. Ha, flat. Hamza, flat. And then ya is also flat. Okay. So only these khussa ضغط qid, rounded, this one conditionally round, and this one conditionally round, but its condition is only very specific, lamul jalala. So you see that most letters are flat. Okay. So let us, I can always, let me get back to this one, get back, and let me take a snapshot just in case. Okay, now I'll have to take these out, and let me just show you while we are at it the mouth pictures. Okay, and as I said that you can always download them from here, the mouth pictures, in addition to the Tajweed Notes and Hamzatul Wasl rules. Okay, so now let me okay, let's look at the mild rounded ones. What are they? Again, maybe I can just go back like this. Okay, what were they? Kha, ghain, and qaf, right? Okay, so kha, kha is a throat letter. Okay, and it's right here. Let me click on it and it will enlarge it. There we go. Okay, so now you can see, you see, kha and ghain. Actually, we got both of them here. Kha and ghain. And here it is. Kha and al-kha wal-ghain. Now, where do we recite that from? This is a throat letter. Okay, down here. And the throat has three areas. Okay, these are the throat letters. How many throat letters? Six throat letters. Okay, this is the bottom part of the throat. So let me grab my pen again. Okay, this one. I'll make it a little bit big here. Okay, so this is the bottom part of the throat. And from this part you get Hamza and Ha. Hamza and Ha. Okay, how are they written? They are written like this. Hamza. Hamza has many forms. Hamza and Ha. But you can write Hamza in many different ways. We will study them. Hamza Ha comes from this part of the throat. Okay, take it out. Okay, let me move it over a bit. Okay, the middle part of the throat are two letters. What are they? Just a bit up. Middle part. This one. Okay, this is the area where you can actually play with your muscles. Okay, and basically it's like a choking area. So you get two letters. What are they? They are, whoa, let's get back. Okay, what are they? They are, what's this one here? Ain and ha. Ain and ha. So these two letters require you to um, use the muscles here and squeeze them in such a way as if you are actually choking. Ah, ah, and ha. These are the two. And then the uppermost throat is there. This is the uppermost part right here. This is where you get the ghain and kha. Okay, now look at the tongue. Look at the tongue. Look at the tongue on this ain and ha, and we said that ain, both ain and ha are flat letters. So look at the tongue. This is what you need to observe. See this? Tongue is relatively flat here. Flat meaning it's not bumped up like this. Look at this one here. Look at this. So this, because tongue is a muscle basically, a very, very flexible muscle. You can do all kinds of acrobatics with it in your mouth. So it is being raised here in order to say ghain and kha. If you don't raise it, you will not do justice to the pronunciation of ghain and kha. And it is coming from the topmost part of the throat. So bottom of the throat, middle of the throat, and topmost part of the throat. And as I said, remember, cough. Cough is right here, just right here. So it's very close to the top throat, but it is not throat. It's slightly out. So if we are going, let's say, in this direction, and counting the letters, then and all these letters are going to be tongue letters that are going to come all over from here to here. Then the first letter will be qaf, then will be kaf, and so on as we move outwards using the tongue. Okay, there we go. So hopefully you have a better understanding of the rounded letters. Okay, let me go back now to our Tajweed notes. I need to get out of the pen mode, get back to the Tajweed notes. Okay. Oh, yeah, we are using the other Adobe Reader for that. So, rounded and flat. And what were the combinations? Okay, the combinations were again khussa ضغط قض خص خا صاد ضغط ضاد غين طا قض قاف ظا. 7 letters. Okay, and the other two that are left over, ra and lam, they're special, and they're rounded in or the ra is round or flat. Same thing with lam, which is always flat except in one condition, when it is part of the word Allah and preceded by a fatha or a dhamma. So here they are. Here they are. Khussa ضغط قذ. Okay, and these are heavy letters all the time. And then, as we said before, let me just scroll it up again. There we go. Take this out. Okay, now I have the whole thing, so I can put this back here. There we go. And we said that Ra has its own rules. It depends on its scenario. Okay, what haraka it has. If it is mutaharrik, meaning if it has a vowel on it, fatha, dhamma, kasra, fathatain, dhammatain, kasratain, or if it is sakin, then what haraka does the previous letter have, and so on. So there is a set of rules that govern the rounding or the flattening of the ra. And we have to look at that in detail. Okay. Then when you have a mad stretching, so when alif is used as a mad, meaning that the letter before it, before alif. Remember I said that alif is not a consonant, that alif cannot take a vowel. It's always sakin by definition. Okay, so this is alif here, and if it is preceded by a letter with a, let me just put, let's say use a ba as an example. So if alif is preceded by a letter with a fatha, then there is a stretching is going to happen. Stretching is going to happen, and this stretching is actually referred to as a mad. Mad. Mad means stretch or to stretch. It's a stretching. And how many harakat? Harakat means beats. How long do we stretch this? We will stretch it 2 harakat. Some people said 2 seconds. That is not correct. Okay, because second is a definite, a measurable as a definite unit of time. So second would be like one steamboat or one. Okay, so people use different words to, for example, if somebody wanted to count, let's say 10, so they use different words. Okay, so they will be more or less, you know, counting, following seconds. Way back when we used to use steamboat. So one steamboat, two steamboat, three steamboat, four steamboat, but different people use different words. Basically, it is approximating the length of time of a second, right? But that is not correct. So some people say, oh, it's 2 seconds. It is not. Okay, and why is it not? Okay, for example, if I am reading the way we read the first page, I was reading in a relaxed manner, in a slow manner. So I was reading, let's say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So there, the the haraka is going to be like this. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. About this long, right? Now, if somebody was reading faster, so his haraka is going to be like that. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So it will be almost half or maybe 3/4 or 2/3 of the distance. So look at the harakat; they're much shorter. So you cannot say this question always comes. Okay, how long is a haraka or a beat? Well, beat depends on your recitation speed. So whatever speed that you are reciting with, that will determine the length of the haraka. Unit haraka, you can say. So if I say this is ba, then I will say, so ba, 1 haraka. Then if I want to double it, 2 haraka, ba, see that? Ba, ba, 2 harakat. That's what it's going to be. So the speed of your recitation is going to determine the length of a haraka. Not 1 second or 2 seconds. You cannot make it definite like that. Okay. So, all right. Going back. So now, alif mad. If the preceding letter is heavy, alif mad should be pronounced heavy. So now, I chose ba in this case. So ba, now ba, as you know, we just defined all the, or we went through all the flat and the rounded letters. Is ba one of the rounded letters, or is it a flat letter? Okay, we know that it is a flat letter. Okay, so therefore what it is saying that if the preceding letter is light, alif mad will be pronounced light. So the mad is going to be basically carrying the roundedness or the flatness of the letter that precedes it. So ba fatha, we know ba itself is flat. Ba fatha will be ba, pretty flat, ba, and adding an alif will be just nothing but ba, ba, not ba. I can't change this letter to rounded ba, no. But I'll give you an interesting scenario. For example, a lot of people, when they read this word, okay, basir, 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 what they would do, because they know that sad is heavily rounded. So in the preparation of reading the sad rounded, they end up rounding the ba as well. And they will say basir, 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 which is a very common mistake. So we should not do that. We have to guard the integrity of each letter. So ba is flat. Let me put a dash to represent flatness. Flat. Sad is rounded. And ya is flat. Actually, it is carrying this, it is extending the kasra of this one. And then ra is going to be, in this case, flat as well. So the only letter that is rounded is sad. So it will be ba Basir, basir, not basir. But that mistake usually happens. All right. So now here, ba is a flat letter. Alif is going to carry the flatness of it when the extension is made of the mud. So from ba to ba. But now, if I choose another one, let's say ta. Now ta we know, so not the dot, sorry. Ta we know is a heavy letter. Ta, ta. You have to not only raise the back of your tongue, but the middle of the tongue goes towards the palate. Ta. And if I add an alif here, which is this scenario here, so the preceding letter is heavy. Alif mud should be pronounced heavy as well. So from ta, it will go ta, ta, not ta. Okay, so you're not going to flatten it. Alif mud carries the roundedness or the flatness of the letter with the fatha that precedes it, the letter that comes before alif. So that's this part here. Okay, take that out. So we've done this part as well. As I said, if you have questions, you can always record them and I will listen to them and I will answer them to the best of my capability. Okay, then the next branch is the gunna for ikhfa haqiqi. Gunnatul ikhfa, ikhfa al haqiqi. Okay, what is ikhfa? Okay, this is another um, uh, pretty involved topic. Okay, ikhfa actually comes is a part of the rules of noon sakin and tanween. What is tanween? Tanween is a generic name for, just get rid of this, erase that. Okay, tanween. What is tanween? Tanween is fathatain or kasratain or dhammatain. Dhammatain can actually appear like this, or sometimes it appears like this. Okay, this dhammatain. And fathatain sometimes appears like this and like this, like the bottom one is like sliding away. Same thing for kasratain, sometimes it appears like this. Okay, and actually these notations do have meanings. Inshallah, we will cover them. So when you talk about gunna happens in different scenarios, but when you are actually doing ikhfa, and ikhfa is a sub rule of noon sakin and tanween. So let me just write down. So noon sakin and or tanween here. So when you have noon sakin or tanween, then there is a set of rules that have to be adhered to. One of them is ikhfa or ikhfa haqiqi. And there is a gunna, that means a nasal sound is made. And when you do ikhfa, you actually hide the makhraj of the noon and just do a nasal sound. Okay. For example, let me give you an example. Okay, like this one here, and straight from the qaida as well here. So in the Mus'haf Madinatul Sharif notation, a noon sakin where the ikhfa is going to be made, okay, is written like this without any symbol around it. For example, in the Indian Pakistani Mus'haf, you will find anywhere there is noon sakin, there is a jazm or a sukun on top of it. But in the Mus'haf Madinatul Sharif notation, when there is an ikhfa situation, they do not write. And when there is an idhar situation, they would write the sukun sign. So when you see a noon, you know that this is noon sakin, does not have any vowel, and you are going to make ikhfa here, this one. And what is ikhfa? We are going to hide we are not the noon makhraj, meaning that we are not going to touch the noon. What is the noon? Okay, where is the makhraj of the noon? Okay, let's just look at it fast. I'm just going to keep that. I can actually take it and put it back. Where is mouth pictures? Mouth. Okay, so noon is going to be right here. See, a noon. So that is the makhraj of the noon. Let's see. There. Tip of the tongue touching at you can say at the end of the dome or the beginning of the dome, either. Okay, where the gums actually start. So these are this is the front teeth here, front teeth, and these are the bottom front teeth, top front teeth, and the tongue is touching there. You can feel it yourself. N, n, n. You see, that's where you touch. N. Now, noon, when you say noon like that, right? Now, what else noon needs? Noon needs, look at this here. This is the nose. Yeah? This is a nose. And this is inside of the nose. Okay, so look at the inside of the nose is empty. So the air coming from your lungs has the air has the passage through your nasal cavity. Air can come out from your nose, but air, if it wants to go through here, through your mouth, it cannot. It's blocked here. But it needs to be blocked this way in order to produce the noon sound. So what do you need? What is essential for noon sound is blocking here with the tip of the tongue and the air flowing out through your nasal cavity. So put your tongue here and say it. Now some people have a problem with the sinuses and they are blocked. Now this person is in big trouble. Why? Because he will not be able to do the noon. So this touching here is also um, the makhraj of D. So if someone's nasal cavity is blocked, okay, then his noon is going to sound like dude, dude. Why? Because this air cannot come out from here. Okay, so that's noon, and that's how you pronounce it. So now if we go back to our, yeah, so ikhfa. So I wrote the example of anta. So how do we do? Hamza fatha, noon sakin, ta fatha. So whenever we see a noon like this, we are going to just not touch the noon makhraj. We're not going to touch here. You know what we are going to do? We're going to let the air through the nose, so we will get the nasal sound, but we are going to take the tongue to the makhraj of the letter that follows the noon, which is ta. So if I go back and if I look for the ta, where is ta? Ta is going to be right here. See that? No, no, sorry. Get back. And so, okay, dal wa ta. There you go. So look, now the makhraj of the ta and dal is very close to noon, right? So you need to get close to the makhraj of ta, but don't go close that close that you actually do the noon. Otherwise, the ikhfa is not going to be correct. Okay. So, anyways, so the whole thing about this is that you move your tongue from the makhraj of hamza to makhraj that follows the noon sakin, and you do a nasal sound only. You put the tongue at the makhraj of the letter that follows the noon sakin, and this is what is called ikhfa. You're not doing the noon makhraj, you're hiding that, and you're just doing a nasal sound. So how do we do that? Then we will do it like, well, how will we read this? Anta, not anta. If you're saying anta, you are actually touching, you're touching the noon makhraj. Then you're not doing the ikhfa properly. So we will say anta, kuntu, like that. Okay. So um, back to here then. So now, if the following letter is heavy, so if you're doing now, you see the noon sakin, when we're doing ikhfa, it could be tanween or noon sakin. I'm just picking up the example with the noon sakin. If we are doing the ikhfa due to noon sakin, let's say, then if the letter that follows, see this, if the following letter, this is very important, okay, this word here, if the following letter is heavy, gunna should be heavy, and if the following letter is light, the gunna is going to be light. Okay, so let's look at a lot of examples, alhamdulillah, in our let me just take this away. Okay, let's move to this one. Okay, now this is the main page of our website, and if you go and see number 3 here on Tajweed, and if you look on this, on the left hand side, there's the index here, and if you move down, oh no, actually the first one right here, um, let me just make it a little bit bigger. There you go. See, the first set of rules, or the first one is actually noon sakin and tanween rules, and the first one is ikhfa. Actually, when you go on the when you click on the thing, let's see, when you actually click on this, it loads the first lesson by default, the lesson of ikhfa. And then there's lots of examples here. Okay, now so the first one here, so what is the rule saying? That the letter that follows the ikhfa or the noon here, and this noon is going to be that's where we are going to make the ikhfa. So if the letter that follows is flat, then we are going to make the nasal sound flat. How are we going to say this? Kuntum. So we're going to ta, which is flat. Kuntum. Okay, in this case, here's the noon. Noon sakin. So we are going to make ikhfa. You're going from mim to ta. Ta is a flat letter. So how are we going to say? Min tudkhil. Okay. Now, in this case, we are actually doing a ikhfa because of the tanween. Here it was because of the noon sakin here, the first one, the second one noon sakin, the third one tanween. But as I said, these are the rules of noon sakin and tanween. Okay, and why tanween and noon sakin are the same? Because the ending sound of a tanween is a noon sakin sound, like this. So qawmun, mun. So there is a noon sakin sound. That's why they are treated, okay, in the same manner, noon sakin or tanween. So you have the tanween here. So you have the qawmun.
قوم تجهلون.
Okay, so now as you just I didn't really intend to do that, but as I touched it, okay, it plays the sound. So all of these have actually sound behind them, like this one here.
كنتم من تدخل.
Okay, so now you have the tanween again followed by a flat letter, so therefore this gunna is going to be flat, like this. Although it's coming from a dhammatain where your mouth is rounded, mu, qawm, but you are going to make it flat. Qawmun tajhaluna. Qawmun, mun. So you're going from mun, mu, your mouth is rounded, to a flat letter, and you're doing that gunna. So you're flattening the gunna. Qawmun tajhaluna. Okay, now in this case you've got the tanween. Sorry, yeah. Yeah. So you have the tanween fathatain followed by a ta. Sadaqatan tu. Sadaqatan. So again it's flat. Okay, here tanween kasratain followed by a ta. Jannatin tajri. Now we have looked at a flat letter following the noon sakin or tanween. Let us look at a letter that is, there's a whole bunch of examples. Let's look at letter that is rounded. Okay, here. So now you have a noon sakin here. Let me just take a pen. You have noon sakin here. You have noon sakin here. Okay, and you have a tanween, which ending sound is of noon sakin for sure. And tanween and fathatain, dhammatain, and then tanween kasratain, all followed by a heavy rounded letter. This is a heavy rounded letter, remember? Sad, dal, ta, dha. So now, how are we going to do this? This is your gunna, and what we are going to do, we will, and this is heavily rounded, so we are going to make the gunna rounded. That's the definition we saw. Remember that? Remember, let's look at it one more time so that we're not lost. Okay, here it is. If the following letter is light, gunna should be light. We did that. And if the following letter is heavy, gunna should be heavy. So going back, now we are going to a heavy letter that is heavy right after noon sakin. Okay, in this case, and tanween in these cases. So how are we going to do it? We are going to make the gunna rounded like this. Yansu. Ya to sad. Yes. Yansur. Yansur. Okay, in this case. Look, now look at this. It's going from real flat situation like Hamza, which is flat, and it's got a kasra too, like real flat, E. And you're going to a heavy rounded. So, and you have to make the gunna rounded. So, how are we going to do this? So, get Hamza to Sad. Is. In sarafna. Hamza to Sad. Is. In sarafna. Here. Dhammatain to Sad. Rijalun sadaqu. So, gunna rounded heavy. Here you're going from tanween fathatain to Sad. Amalan, so amalan, and then Sad rounded. Amalan sa, lan sa, amalan saliha. Here you're going from real flat situation mustaqimin to Sad, which is heavily rounded, and then after you have a kasra, si. Mustaqimin, mim to Sad. من صي مستقيم صراط مستقيم صراط. Subhanallah. So you can go, there's lots of examples here, lots of all that, well, most of the different scenarios that you'll find. Go through it. I would really, those who are reading the Nazira for sure, and no hifz, doesn't matter, whatever level you are, go through them and notice, and if you have any questions you can ask. Okay, going back to uh, this here. Okay, all right, so back to our Tajweed notes, which actually we're using these ones here. Okay, so we did up to here now, and this little section is left now. Lam, yes, lam in the, let me just highlight this so that you know exactly which one I am pointing to. We're doing this one now. Lam in the exalted name of Allah. Harful lam fi lafzul jalala. Allah, Allahumma. Okay, so I did that before as well. We did that. So the rule is very simple. The lam of in the name of Allah is known as lamul jalala. Okay, it's a special lam. If it is preceded by fatha or dhamma, fatha or dhamma, zabar or pesh in Urdu terminology, zabar or pesh, then, but I don't want to use that, so that I want you to get used to the Arabic terminology. Okay, after all, Quran is in Arabic, so we need to get used to the Arabic terminology. Fatha or dhamma, the lam of Allah will be read rounded. Allah. So normally when it is written, okay, we can look in the mushaf, and if it is preceded by with a letter with a kasra, it will be flat. Now all of these situations we have done. The heavy rounded letters, okay, the raw, we will have to go through all of the different scenarios where it is flat or rounded. Then we did the alif mad, okay, preceded by a heavy letter or preceded by a light letter or a thin letter or flat letter, you can say. And then we did the ghunna of the ikhfa, okay, of the ikhfa here. We did these two scenarios, that a letter that is flat following the noon sakin or tanween, and letter that is rounded following the noon sakin or tanween. And we did this as well, lamul jalala. The rest of the letters Other than these and these, the rest of the letters are always flat. Always. Always flat. Okay. Let us look at some of these scenarios now. Heavy and flats in the Mus'haf. Okay. Mus'haf is a means actually the kalam, which is the written copy of the kalamullah, Mus'haf. I can go back into this one here. We go to the Mus'haf here. Okay, we are back here. So let us look at this page that we just read. I'm going to make this big again. There we go. Okay, so now let us identify the letters, okay, whether they're flat or whether they're round. So meme, is it flat or round? Okay, it is flat. I'm just going to put a little dash underneath. Ma, tha is a flat letter as well because not khusal daghtun qid. Ma, tha. Lam is also a flat letter. The only difference is that a flat letter, any letter with a dhamma or dhammatain on top, okay, your mouth is going to turn round. This is a mouth is going to become rounded. That's the only difference. But a flat letter, the tongue in the back will still remain flat. For example, I'll give you a very an example that is like very sort of critical. Okay, for example, if I take the letter ta, ta is a flat letter, but if I put a dhamma, okay, your mouth is gonna go rounded, but the tongue will still remain flat in the back. The tongue is not gonna go up. Now, if I said ta, ta we know is a heavily rounded letter, and if I put a dhamma on ta, so a lot of people actually they will confuse the two and they will read both of them like either two and two or you say two and two. If especially if the ta with the dhamma comes after ta with the dhamma, so this ta will end up being changed as a ta as well because they're so close to each other. Rather, actually the makhraj of ta and the ta, both of them, the makhraj of both of these letters is exactly the same. There's no difference. What is the difference? Is the difference in their sifa, their attribute, tongue position, meaning that the tongue elevation. So in this case, because ta is flat, the tongue in the back is flat. And in this case, the tongue in the back is not only is up, but it is also undergoing adhesion in the mouth towards the top of the dome there. Tu, tu. And this one is tu, 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 tu. Okay. All right. Now, so lam with a dhamma, yes, it will be lu without raising the back of the tongue. Lu. So ha with the dhamma again is flat. Hu. And then meme is second, so you just join with it, but meme again is flat letter. مثلهم, kaf flat, meme flat, tha flat, lam flat, all of them flat. مثلهم كمثل الله, so everything remaining flat. الذي, yeah, is just extending the kasra with the mad, natural mad. الذي, and then what's happening here now? How do we read this? كمثل الذي استوقد, no, we don't do that. That would be wrong. But you know that you have a stretching here. Dal, ya, kasra, the, natural mad. And then you have a word that we need to join with the scene. Whenever this scenario occurs, then the mud is 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 uh, is um, is reduced. Okay, and basically the dal here will go. You don't do the mud, and dal is gonna go straight and join in the scene here. La this. We will not say la this. That will be wrong. La this. And we're continuing flat. Oops, sorry. Here we're continuing flat. La this. Sin flat. Ta flat. Wow flat. Tau. Qa. Okay, you got the wrong round one here. And this qaf, okay, it's not even kasra, so therefore this is going to be round. Tau qa. But then back to flat again. That is flat. So tau qa. Qa round. Dal flat again. Da. Noon flat again. Na. And then alif extends the flatness. Na. We just said that. And then ra. Now ra quickly. Ra with a fatha or fathatain. Okay. Or ra with a dhamma or dhammatain are going to be rounded. And ra with a kasra or kasratain will be flat. Okay. So that's your crash course for ra. For now, we got many more rules, but remember this. So ra has a fathatain. So what are we going to do? Run. Run. Because we just said that it's going to be rounded. Run. Now. Okay, now run. We're going to do it. So here we're going to do a rounded one. And then, but this is a tanween. So we are, and it's following a fa, which is flat. And because it's a tanween and following a flat letter, we have to do ikhfa here. So therefore, we have to go from run to fa, which is flat. How are we going to do this? As we discussed before, ra, ra. So you go from ra to fa, ra, and then fa flat, fa, lam flat, la, joining with the meme again, flat, falamma, hamza flat, dod, rounded, ba, and then you have the alif extending the fatha of a heavy letter. So this is going to remain all heavy here up to here. Do, ado, hamza flat, hamza flat, ta flat, ma mim flat, and alif is going to extend the flatness of it. I think that's what I should do here. Do, do, ma, how, ha flat, not ho, but ha flat. Okay, wow flat as well, but because this is a lean, so the ending sound is going to be oo. How. Lam flat. Ha is flat, but has a dhamma, so you have a oo sound, and this wow is going to extend this dhamma. Who, but it's a flat letter. So see, there's only three places where you meet the rounding. So how are we going to read this? مثلهم كما, it's every flat. مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد, rounded. قدنا, rounded. رن, 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 again back to flat. فلما flat, now rounded. ض, back to flat. At, ما flat, keep on flat. ما حوله. The only thing is that what's going to happen here, that is not a rounded heavy letter, but because of the wow, your mouth is going to round up here. Your mouth, how, and then because of the dhamma, your mouth is going to round up, but the back of the tongue will still remain flat. And that's very important. because the moment you raise the back of the tongue, that's where for a flat letter, that's where the problems start. So let's do a little bit more here until here, then we read the page. So here, dal, flat, ha, flat, ba, flat, dhahaba. And then look at this, lam, Allah. So now this ba has to join with this lam. So lam of Allah, preceding letter, which is significant, has a fatha. So what's going to happen with this lamul jalala? We will do it rounded. Ba, although ba is flat, but lamul jalala is going to be rounded because of this fatha. So how do we read this? ذهب ذهب الله بالله ذهب الله. So this is going to be rounded. Lahu. Ha is always flat. The only thing is that the mouth is going to be rounded, but the back of the tongue will be down. B, flat. Noon is also flat, but the mouth is going to be rounded because of the dhamma and followed by wa. Ra, flat. Ha, flat. Mim, flat. Wa, flat. Ta, flat. Ra, in this case, because of the fatha, will be rounded. Ra. Kaf, flat. Ha, flat. Mim, flat. Fi, yeah, both of them flat. Fi, wa, rounded. Lu, lam, flat but mouth rounded here. Mim, flat, extended by alif maksura here. Ma, flatness. Tin, la, and you have to merge the two together, it will become tilla, but flat, because this is a lam. This is not the lam of Allah, so therefore it will remain flat, and it is extended with this alif. So la. And ya is also flat letter, except the mouth will be rounded because of the dhamma. Ba is flat. We make qalqala on the ba sakin, but we remain flat though. Yube, okay, and then sad, rounded with a kasra. Sli, yube, sli, rounded. Ra is a flat letter. Also, no, sorry. In this case, ra with a dhamma here, rounded. Ru. Here you'll have to raise the back of the tongue. Isti'la. Here also you'll have to raise the back of the tongue to make the ra heavy. Ru. Not ru. Not ru. Ru, not correct. Ru. Back, raise the back of the tongue. Ru. And then wow, extending this. Okay, extending this. Ru. And then merging into noon, because noon becomes sakin because you're stopping. Ru. But when you attach with the noon is what? Flat. So how are we going to say? Ru. And then noon, flat. Ruun. Ru. And then noon, n. Noon. Ruun. Ruun. Not roon. Roon. No. Ruun. You flatten because this noon. So basically you are looking at the recitation at a high resolution, like under the microscope. Okay, now not very much time is left. I can also take a snapshot of this. Okay, let us read the next page and we adjourn. After that, take this away. We did page 4 already. Okay, yeah, we did 4. Now we're going to do page 5. Okay, to read along with me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وبشر الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أن لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار كلما رزقوا منها من ثمرة رزقا قالوا هذا الذي رزقنا من قبل. Notice we went from meme to qaf. Qaf rounded, so we rounded it. من قبل وأتوا به متشابها ولهم فيها أزواج مطهرة وهم فيها خالدون. إن الله لا يستحيي أن يضرب مثلا ما بعوضة فما فوقها فأما الذين آمنوا فيعلمون أنه الحق من ربهم وأما الذين كفروا فيقولون ماذا أراد الله بهذا مثلا يضل به كثيرا ويهدي به كثيرا وما يضل به إلا الفاسقين. الذين ينقضون عهد الله من بعد ميثاقه ويقطعون ما أمر الله به أن يوصل ويفسدون في الأرض أولئك هم الخاسرون. كيف تكفرون بالله وكنتم أمواتا فأحياكم ثم يميتكم ثم يحييكم ثم إليه ترجعون. هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا ثم استوى إلى السماء فسواهن سبع سماوات وهو بكل شيء عليم. صدق الله العظيم. So inshallah I request that everyone should try to come at 5 o'clock Mountain Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, and I guess that's going to be like 4 o'clock Pacific Time. So whatever time is appropriate for you, whichever zone you are in, please come. Do not miss the beginning, because you need to attend from the beginning to the end completely. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me and all of us the tawfiq to may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me and all of us the tawfiq to make the appropriate amount of effort And if you have any questions, you can always ask on Skype. You can always send questions on my Skype ID. Most of you have it. If you don't, and you can always send an email. If you have, you can always send an email on here. Just contact us here. You can send the email there or on my Skype ID, QuranicSciences.com or QSI1.com. Also the Skype ID of teacher Saira, okay, who happens to be my wife, okay, and she's also the moderator. From time to time, she's also helping me out by giving me tips and comments and stuff like that. So I appreciate that deeply. Yeah, so 5 to 6:30 every Friday Mountain Time, and whichever is your appropriate time, please join from 5 to 6:30. Subhanallahi wa bihamdih, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruk wa natubu ilayk.